the dungeon in outer space where God lives. The United States. Technically, the United States is... I mean, not even technically. That just is true. The United States is in outer space.
Have you told them that?
I think it's up to them to discover on their own.
Well, it's certainly a good time to talk about what discovery means. Not going to other people's countries, you fucking colonizers.
That's true.
I'm looking at you, ancestors. Come on, guys, dig me out of this hole here.
What happened? Sorry, I was checking the audio on the stream, and it's good.
So, anyways,
yeah, don't do a colonization.
Yeah, don't do that.
We at How to Kick Flip a Horse would like to come out strongly, not in favor of colonizing.
Hi, my name's Ari. You might have seen me from such shows as Burn Bright or The Quiet Year. We're here to talk about colonization. In this month, where many celebrate the colonization of the United States, we here would like to officially put our foot down as being against it. Thank you so much. Well, I don't speak for... Yeah, don't
Hell yeah. Don't do a colonizing.
Don't do a colonizing.
If the opportunity presents itself, just say no.
I think Robert Frost said it when you come across a path in the middle of the desert and one is to colonize and one is not to colonize. Take the road less colonized.
Sure. I think it's just a general. That's a good rule for roads.
Shouldn't you take the road more colonized, so that way you're colonizing less?
Well, no, you're not taking.
You should already go to the colonized place instead of the uncolonized place.
That's known as the gentrifier's dilemma.
Hi.
Welcome to How to Kick Flip a Horse, a political podcast.
Apparently.
We're no strangers to getting political.
You thought there were other shows where idiots talked about politics, and this is one of them.
No, don't say that. Welcome, everybody. It's How to Kick Flip a Horse, and we are just the three of us today. We've got myself, Ivan, and Jesso, so we're just going to hang out, do a Horse's Mouth from the Horse's Mouth show, and just talk about nonsense. And, yeah, Ivan's always got some fun questions and some fun rabbit holes to go down. Yeah, anything else to add?
I fear you've set the standards inexorably high.
Well, you know what they say, set high, deliver low. Any business tells you that. You gotta waste money to make money.
All right.
That's true.
Give them the business.
I hope our 70 subscribers feel the same way.
They do, I've asked. And
may they never remember to unsubscribe. Thank you. Well, so
Valheim promoter today, Ivan.
Yeah, so well, I guess we'll just get right into it now that the whole playlist is up on the screen. Spoilers for this episode ahead.
Shit.
No, it's okay. I don't actually care at all.
Look. Fuck. I'm winning.
But before I talk about Valheim, I did want to ask if either of you guys are playing anything fun this week. Jesse, I know we'll be talking about one of the games you've been playing, but I don't know if that's the only thing you've been playing right now. And Ari, I don't know what you've been playing at all. Last I heard you were doing the VR hospital game?
Yes, the VR hospital game where you're an insurance collector and you have to go to people's rooms and tell them that the surgery was not covered under their insurance.
It's amazing.
It's a really fun game. You get
positively ghoulish.
Well, you get to play. you get to play it's like a multi thing, and then you go from that, and you actually get to play the Repo Man, and you actually
Oh
get to go to
boy.
their house and take everything from them. It's really really a fun time.
Yeah, Thief,
No,
Thief Simulator. I played that.
actually, I got Thief Simulator on VR. It's pretty good.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's
I
on
bet
sale
right
I
now, I
bet it's
think.
fun in VR.
Yeah, it's really fun. It just has Wood Street. It's kind of the game itself is kind of
Just imagine you standing there, just reaching out, grabbing something and putting in your pocket. Reaching out, grabbing something and putting in your pocket. You're just like walking around all shady.
I am stealing. I am thief.
I am sneak. Watch me sneak.
Curling a long mustache every now and then.
That's right.
Curling a very long VR mustache. Yes, the metaverse. My home at last.
But I haven't been playing anything seriously. I've been my futzing around games. I've been doing a little, Smash Brothers here and there, some Minecraft and here and there. Still trying to
classics.
100% the Assassin's Creed games. So I'll jump on every once in a while and get, a couple of chests and
Which one are
worthless
you on
items.
currently?
Black Flag.
Okay.
Which sucks. I've 100% into that one before, but it doesn't cross over because this was like before they had their like
Oh.
Ubisoft thing and the count stuff and this
Right,
is that.
you did it
so,
on like a old school
like Xbox
360 or whatever.
360. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to get that. Hard to get those achieves to update.
And then I've been playing my my fun Mecha MOBA. The mech,
Oh no, I
the
wasn't
war
paying attention.
robots,
No, no, no.
the war
Dang it.
robots MOBA, which is actually really fun.
Okay.
It's a really fun
This is
MOBA. A lot of cool
survivally.
action
Okay.
with different types of robots. You can buy a bunch of different type of parts. It's actually, I should play it for you guys sometime. It's actually a lot of fun, and it's
Oh yeah.
it's definitely one that I've put money into just because it's like, there gets a point where you're just like, hey, you've played this free game for, this long, so it's kind of worth putting in $20
Right.
and you get a bunch of cool shit,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, for. Why not?
Is it all cosmetics, or are you like
No. It's all-
buying
no,
like
it's all-
better stuff?
Now you're buying better stuff. You're buying like better robots. You're buying better weapons. You're buying
Don't know how I
chances.
feel
There's also
about
like
pay to
loot
win.
crates. Yeah, it's a little bit obnoxious. There are ways to do it within the game.
Sure.
But it's not exactly the easiest
Eh.
to do. But,
Well, if the base game is fun, I'm not going to judge anyone for enjoying a thing that's fun and
Yeah.
is only hurting, I don't know, compulsive gamblers. I'm just kidding. Well, that sounds like a hoot. I've been playing Valheim because the Mistlands update is about to come out. I don't know if either of you guys played Valheim at all.
no, I was looking at it's on sale.
I'll play the trailer on the stream.
Hell yeah, this is a great time to do that. But yeah, Valheim is like an open world, I guess you'd call it a roguelike in that the world is randomly generated. You sort of spawn in with nothing and you gotta use the resources around you to craft a little hut and survive. It's like it's a very chill survival game. There's like bosses and stuff, and every once in a while there will be like an enemy mob shows up. But it's much, in my experience at least, it's much more about exploring and like chilling. Which I think is unique among survival games. It's not that grindy. Like, it's pretty easy to just build the basics to get yourself like set up comfortably. But it's also really fun to build the stuff, and the stuff always like winds up like looking cool too. So I think it's really unique in that way compared to, I don't know. Like, I know you just said you were playing Minecraft, and I don't want to dunk on Minecraft or anything. I haven't spent any substantial at all amount of time playing it, but the aesthetic is a
Advanced
big
Minecraft.
part of that. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I think the aesthetic of the game is very cool, and so it's in early access now. they've been updating it over. I think it came out. I want to say either tail end of 2020 or very beginning of 21. And it's like $20 normally, and they've done like 3 like big updates on it, all for free. And they're about to come out with the Mistlands, which is excuse me, I don't think the final one. I think it's one more after this. Is their main goal before they release it as the whatever it's called when something comes out of early access.
Beta.
Beta?
No, just full release.
Oh yeah,
Beta cuck release.
beta
Beta
cuck.
cuck. That's right.
That's all right.
And then
Or it can stay in alpha
believe
for
their
20
I believe
years.
their intention is to continue releasing new stuff after that, but as like more traditional DLC. But yeah, the shit looks tight. New environment, new enemies, new crafting stuff. I think they're planning to add magic. Jesse, I don't know if this is a problem on the Twitch end. Oh, there it goes. Never mind. I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, it looks like another pretty substantial content update, which is tight. The last thing that they added was a new like dungeon type up in the mountains where you could fight werewolves, and then you could make, I think, a cape out of werewolf skin, and it was a good cape. So I'm looking for. I've been playing with our buddy Denver, who Jesse knows also. Yeah, playing with him, and it's been a hoot. It's a very fun game. I recommend it. It's probably on sale for at least the rest of today.
Yep.
Hell yeah! So yeah, that was Valheim. Jesse, I definitely wanted to hear your formalized thoughts on Stalker: Shadow of Chernobyl.
Oh, absolutely. Before we get to that, I wanted to touch back to our last how to kickflip from a horse's mouth. And,
Sure.
Which segues nicely into what Ari was saying. But here is a fun video. Let's see if it just goes straight to stream.
I want to see a fun video.
It's Subnautica in Minecraft.
Wait a minute. Does this look?
Oh, weird.
Somebody made a fully
Okay.
ground up remake
Oh.
of Subnautica.
Oh, shit.
Like,
Oh no, my sub's on fire.
so yeah, so this is the escape pod that you first get in there in.
Amazing. Oh, and you just hit it.
Yeah, people do some crazy impressive shit with Minecraft. It's wild.
Oh
like,
wow.
The stuff people can do.
Yeah, that's
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It
People
all-
like
it's
remade
very lumpy.
Hogwarts
Oh wow.
with it. But yeah, it's very lumpy. That's kind of the
Yeah,
You know.
the aesthetic.
Sure.
but I mean, if you see sometimes like
Definitely super impressive.
Definitely a good project.
yeah.
Are there squid buddies?
Squid buddies. I don't know if the squids were in the game or not. They don't have anything like the Reaper Leviathan or anything. But
Dang.
it's cool. They got a whole like very accurate fucking whatever the ship's
Yeah.
called. God damn it.
Have you, any of you guys tried Raft?
No, it looks cool though. I see. It's like yeah, it's a survival game where you're just on a raft and you can build like a real crazy raft, right?
I think I did try that. I think it was bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure I played it, and so I looked it up on Steam, and I have it ignored.
Oh damn! Got him.
So I think it might have been bad.
Is it because you hate sharks?
I mean, sharks are honestly one of the things that lives in water that I'm less scared of.
Mm-hmm.
They're not squiggly enough to meet my terror threshold. Shark is
squiddy for
shark
you?
is just a large, sharp fish. And I think fish, like a fish-shaped fish, is just ridiculous to me, not scary. And sharks are enough of a fish-shaped fish that, like, I can obviously
Gotcha.
I can acknowledge the incredible danger that a shark represents,
Right, but you can
but
understand how it works.
I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna like squeal and run away from the glass at the aquarium if there's the shark on the other side. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus if it's like squid over there, I'm like, nope, don't want to even look at it. I hate this.
I don't think
I hate the way that seeing that thing makes me feel.
Yeah.
So
The
it's more
ground
of like
squids are
a.
awful.
I don't know what that is, and I'm gonna
Subnautica.
hope I stay that way. Oh, okay, cool. Not a real thing.
More of a
No,
tactile
no.
thing for you.
Yeah,
does look
this,
like-
throwing hooks to grab resources thing. I don't know how that could like really break
yeah,
the
like-
game for me.
Ox fishing.
That's like how you start off. I think is like
There's also like
Okay.
dude was riding like a what's it fucking called, a snowmobile. Like that's not a raft, dude.
Wait, what? What a
I
rat.
don't know.
Mods.
I
Yep.
I do legitimately not have any memory of playing this. Mainly, I think because it looks like dozens of other games. Broadly speaking, just the color palette and the sort of gameplay mood.
Shitty Wind Waker.
Maybe shitty Wind Waker. I don't know. It's really just. I mean, the only clue I'm going off of is the fact that I have it ignored on Steam, which is
Pretty telling.
certainly something that Drunk Ivan did.
Maybe you just got annoyed with it and its suggestions, and you're like, "Fuck this game."
I will not play Raft. Yeah, I don't know. So it does come up similar to games I've played, Valheim and Terraria.
Terraria was an interesting little.
Yeah, Terraria is fun. I feel like I stopped playing it when I found out about Starbound, though. Which is essentially the same game, but larger scale. I guess eventually Terraria went on to differentiate itself a little bit. But I don't know.
But I don't know.
But I don't know. Do, 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 do.
You could kind of probably set it up so that either one of them booted from the Terraria shortcut, and I would be hard pressed to tell the difference.
True. But to go back to what you said about Stalker, I've been playing that, and it's fucking amazing.
Hell yeah, play those trailers.
Let's go. This looks like it's the film, which is the adaptation of what we talked about the other time.
Yeah.
Lunch
I mean,
picnic.
it's-
What is it?
Lunch picnic, yeah. Roadside
Yeah,
picnic.
good old
Roadside picnic.
roadside picnic.
Oh, is that Woody Harrelson?
No, it's some Russian guy that looks like him.
I wonder if I say the exact same things I said last time.
I don't think you said that last time. I feel like I'd remember that. That's pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah. So I don't. I feel like Stalker the game is like loosely based on the movie and the book.
Yeah.
And the movie is also just very, very loosely based on the book.
So it's like
They
playing a
both
game of
kinda-
telephone.
They all do their own thing. They just have some similar some similar ideas presented and some similar situations.
Yeah.
The wish granter, the bolts. Though obviously in the movie those are nuts technically. And I think in the book they call them bolts as well.
I don't know that part yet in the game.
That's crazy to me. You should look up how to throw bolts because I think you can just do it whenever.
How to throw bolts?
I'm pretty
Teach you how
sure.
to throw shade.
Throw bolts,
Why would I
Stalker.
throw bolts?
To set off anomalies. What's the damn hotkey? 6. If you hit 6, it'll bring up your bolts, and you can throw those into anomalies when you get the beeping on your detector. Some of them you can set them off so that you can run past them before they reset.
That's how I get those stashes before they're in there. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Now you're learning, Stalker.
That's like one of the best parts about this game is I've just been like slowly learning the game playing it. Like,
I mean, I feel like that is ultimately the point, and I think that is the biggest inspiration that the games took from the book. Because there's a couple parts. There's one part where the main dude is talking about having to like escape from the zone without a map, and how it takes him like 3 days, and he just has to crawl on his belly like slowly the whole time because he doesn't know where he is and he doesn't know where the traps are.
oh shit.
But he manages to make it out. And then there's another time where they're like, we have to crawl here. And so they just like get in this like awful space muck and are just like, God damn it, I hate my job.
Why do they have to crawl? Because of anomalies?
Yeah, like it's basically like the one side there's one and the other side there's another, so they have to like crawl between these like what's the word? Two like globes basically. They have to
Right.
crawl under the middle of where the globes touch.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Where the globes touch, where the bees.
That's
sting.
cool. Yeah, I'm fucking stoked about it.
Yeah. You should really I again
watch
recommend that book to anyone. Great book, short read, good fun sci-fi. That also manages to be pretty grim.
Yeah, The Last of Us 2 is it coming out or it came out?
It already came out. It's like a year old at this point, if not more.
It's the remaster, isn't it?
The
Yeah,
remaster just came
remaster.
out. Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't play either of those. They look cool.
Really
Right.
good. Really.
They look
fucking good, the
they
first
look
one
like
is.
they would scare me a bunch. I don't
I
like
heard that this was
I
a
don't
good
like getting
game.
chased in dark areas. I think that's more the type of horror that I don't
It's
enjoy.
like it's more like stealthy Resident Evil.
Yeah.
See, like Resident Evil doesn't really freak me out at all. None of the well,
I didn't feel
I guess
like
Zero
particularly.
Zero was too spooky for me. I didn't finish it, and Code Veronica was also too spooky for me. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. You might find it too spooky, but like it's. I think it's fairly tolerable on the spectrum
Yeah.
of spookiness. I also think it's particularly cool because it deals with the cordyceps as like a fungal transfer of this disease.
So it like actually like is about the fungus. Or it's not just like that's what the zombies look like.
No, yeah, they spread because of a fungus. Like you have like in specific areas where like the fungals have reached a sporing phase, you have to like wear gas masks and stuff.
Oh no shit. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's more like it's
22
one of those. It's almost like a stealth puzzle kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of brute force your way through it, or you could sort of like learn the best way to be efficient and sort of get through quick
Sure.
and smart.
Sure, you can like yeah.
And the gunplay is really rewarding.
Nice.
Once you get a bow, it's really nice because you can just like silently like one shot headshot when you get good with it.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely my go-to playthrough. Most games, if that option is available, I would
Same.
prefer to just stand in the corner and get headshots and not be bothered having to like find a health pack or whatever. Just like I'm gonna
Right.
just.
This playthrough, I'm gonna do
Just-
double-handed weapons. How am I a sneaky archer again? That's what that.
Exactly.
I've done the
reminds
sneaky two-handed
you go.
daggers a couple of times. At least Skyrim.
me. Yeah, I've done the like full magic user, like don't need any real weapons.
Nice.
That one's actually pretty fun because you can use a lot of melee. Like I think that's like the only alternative that would work for me. The two-handed is just so
Survival.
awkward.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the fighting with the two-handed just doesn't really. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just like bashing away. It wasn't.
Sure.
Actually,
Because you can't do the Musashi style. I've been playing what is it? Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, which has a very fun and satisfying first-person melee combat thing. I don't think I put a trailer up in the thing,
What's it
but
called?
Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. It's actually made by the same. I don't know if it's the same like team, but it's the same company that went on to do the Dishonored games.
Should we do the Christian review?
Yes,
Okay.
that sounds great.
No.
I'm sure it's.
Whoa, not the original of Might and Magic.
Hallelujah.
16
Maybe just
bit.
try trailer.
Dark
We
Messiah.
talked about
Might
this
and
last
Magic,
time?
Unofficial trailer. Bam. 1 year ago? Is it a year old? Sound right?
Yeah, that's it. Maybe it got a HD update recently. It's cool. It does look remarkably fine for
Oh, yeah, look at that. That looks
a game as old as it is.
Yeah. That looks good for an old game, right? Like it looks like an old game that
Yeah.
got super updated.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth.
Oh, kick your ass.
Yeah, you can like definitely. Oh yeah, the environmental kills are very fun. That's another very satisfying part of it. But like, yeah, you can like
Just kicked him across
kick
the
dudes
room.
into shit. You can like drop stuff on dudes.
Mm-hmm.
The way you input the melee commands is pretty fun. It's like twitchier than it initially appears. So like you basically like hit the swing and the D-pad at the same time to like choose the type of swing, or not the D-pad, the directional stick,
Yeah.
which like starts the swing. But so the idea is you let go of the stick so that you don't then keep moving, which is a problem that I was running into at the beginning. I was like, oh no, why do I keep just running to the side away from the guy that I'm trying to hit with my sword?
Ah, gotcha.
And then I realized the input window was very small.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, oh, I can just tap this and now I'm going to
Get your
do
full
this
swing.
sword strike. Like he just did that like forward charge poke in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them. Oh, I haven't seen any throwing yet. That's sick. I love that. That chandelier, I love that part. On my playthrough, that chandelier got stuck in the geometry of the level and just spun around the whole room like forever
Yeah, you texted me about that. That's hilarious.
and hit like all the other enemies in the room. It was amazing.
That's amazing. Oh, that actually reminds me. I meant to, not to keep bringing up Subnautica, but I totally fell through the map at one point.
Oh no.
Yeah, like I just got out of my sub and like fell down through the bottom of a bunch of shit into some invisible water and then just swam up to some platform I'd never seen before and just like got in a super awesome area that had a bunch of items in it
Whoa.
and found my way back. Yeah, it was wild.
Oh, so you did wind up being able to like get back to the map.
Yep.
It just dumped you into like a cave or something, like a
Yeah,
part
like
of the.
I fell through the walls of the map into another part of the map. I kind of like Wario
That's tight.
Stadium the game.
Oh, nice! Hell yeah! Or Rainbow Road.
Yeah, or Rainbow Road, you know. But it's pretty
tight.
cool.
It's awesome. I love it when a plan comes together.
Have you ever played Shadow Tactics? The Blades of the Shogun game? I feel like you'd enjoy that.
Yes, I
It takes a lot of
did.
patience.
I know I have it on the Epic Games, and I did play it a little bit, but then it was difficult and I gave up. Which is
Try it, and then I was like, nah.
a frequent
Gotta find the flow of it.
a theme throughout my game playing existence.
Sometimes should be hard.
That's true. I'm nervous that that'll be the case with one of the other games I have started playing recently, which is Paradise Killer. I don't know if either of you guys have seen that. It's apparently a pretty good
stream.
Yeah, it's a pretty good murder mystery. I'm enjoying the exploring and like clue gathering parts. The horny anime art I could do without, but like, whatever. It does make me nervous to like play it when Jenna's around, so she's not like, "Are you watching some horny cartoon?" Because I'm not just trying to solve a murder mystery. But then people are out here like flexing their abs and stuff,
Look at this
and it's
guy,
like,
yeah.
come on, come on,
Dr.
abs.
Doom Jazz.
We're all super impressed.
This looks cool, though.
But yeah, it's a pretty fun game.
Dr. Doom Jazz.
It's
Crimson
they couldn't come up with
Same
anything
daybreak.
besides Doom for his middle name. I don't know.
What a cast of characters.
I know.
Yeah, it's all it's a pretty interesting like mythology as well.
Oh, it's on the
They're
Switch.
I don't know if they're like gods necessarily, but they're like powerful I don't know what you call them, like demiurges maybe. That are preparing their reality to end so that they can create the next reality, which they call Paradise 25.
Oh, seems fine.
Yeah, just normal extra dimensional being shit. I think that's kind of also
Like, who am I
why
to
they
say?
have crazy names and shit. But then, so this council of these beings that call themselves the Syndicate all turn
Creative.
up murdered.
The Syndicate called.
And
the
then your character, who is called Lady Love Dies, is returned from exile to investigate their murders.
Oh, man. Spoiler
and yeah.
warning.
There's a lot of crazy shit in it so far, but mostly like it all makes sense from investigation standpoint as far as I can tell.
What's the gameplay like?
It's like first person. You just sort of walk around. You
find
can like
clues?
jump and you can jump and sprint. Yeah, there's environmental stuff that you can find.
It sounds like Danganronpa. It sounds sort of like a walking novel or whatever.
Oh yeah. I always thought Danganronpa was just like click on dialogue options. I didn't realize there was even any actual gameplay in it.
Yeah, you walk around and you got to go to the
Oh,
various
okay.
room and like find clues, which are like environmental triggers, basically.
Yeah, that's
and then
kind
you play a
of
little like
that's kind of
war
what
game.
this is. It's much more about. Well, I'm also very early in it. It feels like I haven't even visited all of my initial list of contacts from like when the game started.
Gotcha.
And like each person I go to opens up more options for the other ones.
Good times.
So yeah. So trying to wrap my brain around that. But that's I'm worried that I don't know if you guys played Obra Dinn, The Return of the Obra Dinn.
No.
No.
It's like it's another mystery like deduction type of game. but you're playing as an insurance agent, and the idea is you have to reconstruct the killings of all the people on this ghost ship that turns up in the harbor, so that the company that owns it can make an insurance claim.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
Johnny Dollar.
so you have to like go through and like reconstruct events, and you have this little magic pocket watch that like shows you the last couple seconds of someone's demise.
Whoa! I would just watch that over and over again.
And I tried playing it, and I was really enjoying it. Like I love the premise, but that shit was so fucking hard, and it made me feel like a dumb guy. And it kind of scared me off mystery games for a while. So I'm hoping I don't. I'm hoping Paradise Killer doesn't make me feel like a dumb guy.
Fuck you, game, for making my friend feel dumb.
I know, right?
That's okay.
No,
There's worse things than me feeling dumb.
Yeah, seriously. Let's fight. Let's fight that game.
Let's fucking go.
Fight that game. Beat 'em up.
Fight that game. So I really was thinking about, like, you know, we're coming up to the end of Burn Bright here.
Yeah.
Probably, like, seriously, the main story could be over in an episode.
You've been saying that for like 10 episodes, haven't you?
Yeah,
That's true.
But you all keep kind of stretching stuff out and going different directions I didn't expect, which makes it fantastic. But it's like I'm not going to skip over juicy story stuff just to make my quota. You know
Sure,
what I
just
mean?
to wrap stuff up.
Yeah, like I'm not going to do that. Like I would
That makes
rather,
perfect
like,
sense.
because you keep finding really cool stuff, and I keep having to make up stuff like that.
Keep
Collars.
finding shit to do.
Well, those collars I made up like on the spot because I was just thinking of something like, well, how would they transport them?
Awesome.
And but anyways, once we do that, what would you guys think? You know, it'll take me a while to kind of write up the next season for Burn Bright, but what would you guys be interested in following up with after that?
I'd like to hear Jesse's ideas first because I have ideas.
I have ideas too.
You mean like where, like in the world of Burn Bright, when we conclude this campaign, what should we do next?
Oh, that's
No,
a good
no.
question too.
That's another good question. But outside of Burn Bright, like once we finish, you know, our this chapter, I'm gonna need, you know, a couple months break before we get back into it. So while we don't have a main game, what do you think we should play? Like, what would you like us to jump into?
Man, that's a good question. My mind immediately goes, and this isn't actually a very good answer to your question specifically. My mind, what I would really like to prioritize is getting us together for an in-person game and playing Paranoia.
That would be fun. Yes, we've been talking about
Love
that for
that.
a long time.
But again, that doesn't answer your question.
It's a answer the question.
Okay.
It's good to know that it's on all our minds.
Yeah, because that'd be just so.
The more we all want to do it, the more likely it is to happen.
That's true. That's a good point. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, because I'd love to host you guys and like get back into like planning out a game. I know I've got like a good thing I've planned out so far with actual physical props and stuff.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
It'd be fun.
That's
I love
amazing.
I love that.
I think we
For me, I'm thinking I'd like to do, and this is something that we've brought up, and I think Tommy was going to run Blades. Blades in the Dark, I think sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't know what his time is like. I know he was very busy with his wedding stuff, and obviously now that is over. But and I'm certainly not opposed. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter at all. If occasionally, like for tonight, for example, if he has to cancel, because like it's no different than if we're canceling the Burn Break game. If it's the campaign we're doing. But yeah, if he has time to do that, I would love to play Blades again.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I've never actually played because it was the games that you guys played on when I was
Right,
off.
right.
We've also got the
It
Barks and
was
Bike.
fun.
We've got the Barks and Bite storyline, which was kind
It's
of
true.
left up in the open too. That had some stuff to
Sans
go.
Sans Jesse, but yeah,
Yeah.
we can easily introduce a new pup for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Any viewers out there, you can find at least a couple of those episodes on our YouTube channel, which I think is linked in our Twitch bio.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And if you're watching this on YouTube later, it's in our YouTube bio. I think, probably.
And
Find out on your own. You know how the internet works.
And if you're listening to this on a replay because somehow we got super duper famous and then we got put on some like throwback thing and
If you're watching us on CISO 3.0,
yes, that's right. If you're on Weebly, then we
you
appreciate it.
poor bored bastard. Anyway, but yeah, so I would love to. I'd love to get back to that. Adjacent to that, also would love to play more 666 Madison. I've been working on the setting guide. Did I talk about this last week or last time we had a chat?
Not that I know.
I tried to get it done in time for Creators Day on Itch, but I failed, and it remains undone. But I am slowly but surely working on it. It is, I would say, it's about 2/3 of the way done. Working on a setting guide for that, detailing locations and personalities throughout a cryptid infested and highly cursed Newark, Delaware, circa 2010.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm gonna.
Okay, do it.
But I'm also working on comics with our buddy Alejandro of the good spooky Saturday stream art. Alejandro Nice on Instagram. We've been talking about getting him to draw up a comics version of 666 Madison stuff.
Nice.
Inspired by your guys' antics. And, some other stuff too. What's that?
I think I played that once, right?
Were you around for 666 Madison? I don't know.
I think I did one. I remember one that I did with a taxi cab ride where something was trying to get us in the cab and I tried to shoot out the window and my thing fell out and we were in this old town and we were looking for... Yes. Am I making this up? Possibly.
No,
I'm
I have a vague recollection of things similar to this. I think you might be thinking of. I think you might be thinking of either whatever the Mad Max game is called.
No, that was different because that was.
Or you might be thinking of the Books and Bullets that Jesse ran.
Could have been.
Yeah,
I don't know if Jesse ran it though. I thought it could have been.
Jesse ran that.
one, yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Okay, that might have been it then.
That sounds right. That was fun too. I liked.
I found my notes for that too.
I may be biased, but I like all of our games.
I need the Lovecraft one is better when I'm in like a swing of re-listening to some of his short stories.
Sure.
And I'm like,
gotta be in the mood.
Yeah, and it lets me put in like really specific references that I think are fun.
Sure.
I need to figure out a better way to document my ideas though. While still trying to remain flexible. I envy you guys. I still have trouble letting go.
It's an acquired ability for sure. It's not something I don't think that anyone is innately good at. Maybe some people are more, predisposed to being good at running games, but
And I also feel like it's a
you still got to
spectrum.
put work in.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a spectrum between how fluid you can be and how rigid you can be. Because if
Yeah.
you're too fluid, the game goes everywhere and it makes no progress. And so sometimes I wish I was more rigid because I feel like sometimes my open with the flowness takes to places that sometimes, cause issues or is more difficult than expected or, so sometimes it's having that.
Says have a 5-part finale.
Yes.
I have never gotten any type of. I've not gotten any sensation either way in Burn Bright, at least that I can think of being like goaded to one thing or feeling like this is probably not the thing that he wanted us to do.
Right.
I would say for the vast majority of our Burn Bright campaign, I feel like I've thought we were pretty much on task.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you
know?
want to know something? This it's kind of a mini spoiler, but not a big spoiler. So, remember at the end of the last episode, we revealed this giant statuesque looking thing in the
Yeah.
So there was a whole mission that there was a plot hook that you would have fought one of these things before.
Oh shit!
That
We
didn't
just missed it.
Then you just missed it, which is fine because that's like now you're seeing this creature for the first time, and
It's a hell of a reveal.
I'm definitely having. I mean, that mission is still probably going to be available for you guys because of the nature of it. But it just I found it interesting that I was just like, and it's one of these things, and I'm just like, yeah,
It's this thing you've never seen.
But I think that also makes it kind of interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was cool because it let it sort of let our imaginations go wild with it. Like I thought, there's a couple crazy things I think that thing could be.
Mm-hmm. Which is great because you get to discover it now, which is like something that I've been waiting for a while too.
Hell yeah.
So it's exciting. There's like certain little I can't even remember. There's certain little things that I was really excited to have take place that just like it didn't materialize because it just it didn't make sense.
Sure, didn't come up.
Didn't come up, but I'm happy with the way it went.
Same, having a blast. Looking forward to the conclusion and season 2 whenever we get there. No rush, no pressure. The thing that I was going to say as a potential alternate is what's on the screen right now, Mothership.
Mothership, yes.
A very fun, very simple game that is good for, I'm finding out, not just sci-fi horror, but sci-fi sort of across the board, like a comparatively low-tech sci-fi. It's very much aliens-based. I think like the environment and mood of Aliens and Alien 2 or Alien 3 rather, excuse me, is the closest to what the system is sort of emulating. I think it's really fun. I've run it for I've run a bunch of different quote unquote one shots. You know how one shots usually wind up being at 3 to 5
Several
shots.
Just like nights going out drinking.
Yeah, I've run a bunch of those, and I'd be willing to start running like a longer form campaign.
Hell yeah.
I think that'd be fun. Roll20 also has really slick character mancer for Mothership. They're also so Mothership. I backed their Kickstarter, John. I guess that was actually probably around now last year. and it was their box set thing was supposed to be out November 2022. It got delayed though because apparently they got the wrong size boxes printed.
Oof.
So they had to decide whether to get new boxes printed that were the right size or to get an insert made to make the boxes the right size. And I don't know where they landed on that, but they did recently release one of the books in PDF form, the Warden Operations Manual, which is pretty tight. It's a lot of random tables, but it's also a lot of like I don't know what you call it, like theory almost for like behind the scenes shit. Excuse me. Like ways to approach running the game, like stuff that you'll not just like if so and so does this thing, roll a dice thing, blah blah blah, like approaches to like I don't know, creating tension and like how to make sure you're giving your players information without giving them too much information.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And I think that's a really cool thing to do. And it's cool that the people making the game are cognizant that is a thing you can do with their game. It's a fun one. My monthly-ish Friday game, we had a late cancel one of the members not that long ago. I guess that was, I don't know, week before last. And we ran Mothership. We had been running the module called I think it's called Aurora. You can find that on Roll20. Illustrated by Bodhi H, who is a very talented artist. I would recommend following them on Instagram. They got a very, very unique and very fun style. And the adventure is cool too. I want to say, I forget what the author's handle is. I want to say like Wart or something.
A word?
If I was better at this, I would have looked that up, but I didn't. But so we finished the Aurora adventure, and long story short is they wound up beyond the reaches of the known galaxy. So now the next adventure that I do for them has to take place on a world without humans.
Ooh,
So
fun.
I've been looking at other weirder RPGs for like setting ideas, and like specifically I've been looking for something that would allow me to easily and quickly create weird like alien adjacent creatures, you know? Like humanoid non-humans.
Could do some AI. Some
Oh,
AI
sure,
inspiration.
that's a pretty good idea. But yeah, I was hoping for stats maybe. The two that I looked at was a game called Grok, which I couldn't find a video for, but it is on itch. If you just search Grok RPG itch.io, I bet you'll find it. And that's like a surreal fantasy, I guess you'd call that. And sort of the same with Troika. I don't know what that is. Oh wait, yeah, I do.
Which is what?
The Snallygaster. That's the. Is that the thing that's so ugly it cries?
It's a cryptid in Boonesboro, Maryland, in South Mountain. It's like a snake. It's a snake chicken that eats children.
Snake chicken that eats children.
Snake chicken dragon.
Snake, chicken, dragon, puppy.
It's for the puppies.
Okay. Let's see. What's
Puppy
the crying
monkey baby.
cryptid? Puppy monkey baby. The squonk.
Squonk. Oh, of course.
Reported to live in the hemlock forest of northern Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's why it's in the hemlock forest.
Just a little uggy man.
Ugg season.
The legend holds that the creature's skin is ill-fitting, being covered with warts and all. Because it is ashamed of its appearance, it hides from plain sight and spends most of its time weeping.
Oh, that's a Mimikyu. It's a Pokemon.
Is he just a ugly little horrible thing?
He kills you if you see him.
Yep, I'd say that.
A man named J.P. Wentling is supposed to have coaxed the creature into a bag, of which when he carried it home, it suddenly lightened. On further inspection, he found that all that remained was the liquid remains of the sad animal.
Ew.
Damn.
Gross. Yuck. A squonk. Amazing. Love it. Excuse me.
So when they do the Pikachu parade, there's always a Mimikyu hiding in the crowd. Because Mimikyu actually looks like a shitty Pikachu. Because it just tries to like dress up like Pikachu and be loved.
Oh. Oh, and it's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kills you if you look at it.
If you look at it, yeah. So it just hides under its little thing.
So rude.
It doesn't intentionally kill you. People just die when they see it.
From getting spooked.
I guess.
Well, you're not Pikachu at all. Ah!
I just love that they like hang around with the other Pikachus in the parade.
That's pretty funny. Like that.
Rock.
Rock.
Rock looks fun.
Yeah, I picked it up. They got it on there for $1, I think. Pretty good. Pretty good deal. It's like, I don't know, 30 or 40 pages. Great art, obviously. Yeah. Need to fashion some type of strange world for my players to land on because their space adventure has ended beyond known space.
Mm-hmm.
So it only makes sense to make it weird.
Oh
You
yeah.
could always do a silent year. I always thought that was a good idea.
Quiet Year.
Quiet area.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's a good way to create the worlds.
Create.
It's a good.
Oh, make them
it's a
play
good
it
idea.
to make the world. That's fun. Make them their deities in the world they play.
You have made your own world shitty once again.
Wow.
Congratulations, you're role playing as the boomers.
They're just like ruh-roh.
Yeah. Rock looks fun. Troika looks fun. We're coming up on the hour mark here. You guys want to do a short break?
Sure.
Go until. Is there a plan to go till 10:30?
30 sounds good to me.
Yeah, we can. Maybe a little sooner than that, but that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back from break and we'll do some Reddit questions and
Fuck
see
yeah.
where that lands us time wise, and then we'll either bullshit a little bit longer or who knows, play the forest, play some Ari, just put Twitch up on your phone and stream Smash Brothers that way. That would be fun.
Whoa,
But who knows? Maybe the world is our Twitch oyster.
Yeah, I guess I could always jump on and do some of that MoMA I was talking about too. I can
The
stream that.
Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Mm-hmm. Right. Peace out.
All right. Yep. See you guys in just a little bit. You want to put that slideshow up there, Jesse?
I'm on it.
Sick, my man. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, anyone and everyone. See you in just a bit.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. I'm back in the saddle again. Alright, let's take a look. Oh. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going? We're back. How are you guys? How was your break?
It was amazing. Just lovely.
Same.
How's your quitting going?
Oh, poorly. Got paid and it became more difficult. But still in the back of my mind.
Now, if you ever need help, buddy, you just let me know.
Yeah, come hypnotize me. Hypnotize me on stream. That might be fun.
Yeah,
I got hypnotized for smoking at one point.
How'd that go? I mean, you quit eventually.
I did quit eventually.
I have noticed there's this thing where when I clean the bathroom, the spray that I use, even if I wash my hands as soon as I'm done or whatever, it's only for cigarettes. It makes the cigarettes smell really weird and bad.
Gross. Like really gross weird.
So if the cigarettes just smelled like that all the time, I would be like, you know what? Maybe I don't want a cigarette.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever smoke a cigarette when you put that stuff on your hands? Do you get that nasty taste as well with the smell?
Not really a taste as much as the smell.
Well, smell and taste are connected very closely.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But after a few hours, it recedes, and then I'm like, yeah, give me that cigarette, woo!
Yeah, well, I mean, a craving is said to be 90 seconds. Like you just need to beat a 90-second craving, which is the emotional spike. The reason it stays so much longer is because we keep spiking it back up instead of
Right.
just,
It's
so
90
there's things.
seconds, and then it's 90 more seconds, and then 90 seconds after that when you think about it again.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's one way to look at it.
It's few and far between.
It's definitely, I definitely succeeded in, I've cut down substantially, and I've done that before as well, but, it's
That's okay, too.
It's a process or whatever.
It's whatever you need.
I can
at the
make
time
them,
that you need
I
it.
can make them last when I need to.
Yeah.
But,
And they say like 90% of people who quit smoking do it on their own. I do like
Well-
Hmm?
like using like patch or
No,
gum or
Just
hypnosis.
nothing. Just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like just like over time, it's like situations happen or something happens, or they just like, oh, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Maybe not 90%, but there's a huge number of people that just stop on their own. It's said that a lot of these stop smoking things are kind of set up to keep you smoking and think you have like an option
Whoa,
because
that's fucked
it's
up.
owned by Philip Morris, who still makes money when you're trying to quit.
Sure,
so
all
why not?
those all those truth campaigns are paid for by the cigarette company.
Yeah, so they're like, yeah, if you're trying to quit, why not use our things? Which can help, for sure. I mean, when I was quitting smoking, I did use the lozenge, which was good. And it was like the perfect thing for me because it had a little bit of nicotine in it. I put it under my lip, and it just kind of hung out. And it kind of reminded me back in the day when I used to dip when I was in the Marine Corps. And then it also just was easily replaceable for me with just like a regular mint, one of those like certs and stuff like that.
Sure.
So like eventually it just became like an oral fixation. And it was
Sure.
just like the reason most people fail at quitting smoking isn't the smoking itself. It's actually what the smoking provides, right? Secondary gains.
Sure. Yeah, I'm definitely just as addicted to having an excuse to leave a room at any time.
Mm-hmm. Have time to yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
I want,
Just like go and hang out.
I'd like a 5 to 7 minutes of quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes people find other ways to get that. And once you find that, like, you're like, okay, what am I doing now? And what can I do to, mimic that or change that or make it useful? So I'm still getting that dopamine fix, right? Because there's that, it's all about dopamine, right? That's how the human brain works. That's how we get our memories changed, When we get dopamine, that's
Dopamine
that's what
and
calls our attentions.
serotonin, technically the only things any of us enjoy.
Yep. Well, there's also oxytocin.
Sure.
And there's also adrenaline and all this stuff. I have this whole class.
Those
that I did.
ultimately just affect serotonin and dopamine, right? The main ones, at least.
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's all a big connection. I mean, we can go on this rant for a while, but it's kind of
Thanks for tuning in to How to Kick Flip a Horse. This is Brain Chemistry Chat.
I could nerd out about this shit. Do you do a lot of brain chemistry stuff in your line of work there, Jesso?
None.
Yeah. Because you've got the hormones and then you've got the chemicals. And then it's funny because the reason that, we like fear and we like scary games and we like seeing scary movies, it's like, first off, your brain doesn't know the difference between like a perceived fearful situation and a real fearful situation. Like, it reacts. Now, over time, it says, oh, is this just like a psychological danger or is this a physical danger? Like, do I need to turn on fight or flight mode or am I cool? So what happens when you're like, am I cool? And then your body's like, cool, take some dopamine to chill the fuck out, right? Like to keep your thing down. I've given you some dopamine already to kind of like numb any pain you might receive in this fearful time. But now let me give you some more to kind of let you chill out. So that's
Right.
You get a double dose at a scary movie.
Double dip.
Double dip in those good brain chemicals.
Yeah, that's right.
You could describe the chemicals of the brain or the potential of the brain as a Pandora's box, couldn't you?
Hmm.
Can you tell that this is an absolutely seamless transition to one of the Reddit questions?
I'm letting it go. I was going to
I'm
say
good at these,
pituitary
aren't
gland.
I?
Speaking of pituitary gland,
Alright.
Speaking of why alligators are ornery, it's because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
that's right.
Oh, so we do a thing on this show where I read some questions off of Reddit. If we ever get an audience that wants to ask us questions and hear us answer them, we're into that. You can send us questions through a variety of means. You know how the internet works. You can figure it out. But so, this first question I found on DM Academy subreddit from user Farline8468. Who asks Pandora's boxes that you should never open. They go on to say, we often see discussions about things to avoid or bad habits that should be mitigated, but what about mistakes that permanently alter your table and the way your players interact with the game? Mistakes whose consequences cannot be put back in the box. Here are a couple of mine. Telling your players about fudged dice rolls. Way back when I had a party start at level 1, but they spent so much time on backstory that I just didn't want to kill them early on. I pretty much lied on every damage roll, and I told them once that I did it. 15 levels later, they would still claim I changed the dice every so often, despite not doing it since level 2.
Yeah. You broke trust.
Number 2. Unwinnable fights. I don't mean making players who run into a full garrison guns blazing face or decide to take on the dragon despite all horror stories, face the consequences. I mean doing a JRPG-esque boss fight that is meant to be lost for story reasons. I did this once, and for months my players would always metagame about whether they were, quote, supposed to be fighting something, if it was a little tough.
Yeah, I think that's the worst thing to put in for a tabletop game, the have to lose fight, because I feel like if you're going to do that, do it narratively.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a rough one to convey. That's like one that you want to do like as the result of a cliffhanger. Like you want to fade back in on that, not be like, and we're doing the part where you're unconscious and have no agency right here in the middle.
Yeah, and then you're just like doing all these like wasted rolls for attack. I mean, it could be fun to kind of do that, but I've done attacks where people, like, I knew they were overpowered, so once they kind of got them down to a certain level and felt that they were incapacitated, they took off, right? Give them like a reason to take off
Sure.
during the middle of a fight that seemed valid. Especially like early on, right? Because your players are so weak. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I've ever done that
I've
yet.
never successfully conveyed to players that it's okay or never mind optimal to flee from a fight. Never has a party I've been in charge of been like, but wait, let's not kill this thing. They're like, if it bleeds, we can kill it, and if we haven't seen it bleed, that just means we haven't seen it bleed yet. And I'm like, maybe you run.
No.
Not always.
No. Run.
But I do think that's something that needs to be more normalized with, like for
I think
example, like
it's
if you guys would have taken a step back when we did the 5E where Paul got kind of knocked out, if you all would have like retreated, for a bit and kind of like gotten your shit together and then gone back in, there probably would have been a different outcome for that particular,
Sure.
session. But, I think it's a good
it's
call.
something that needs to be like conveyed at the start of the game if it's going to be conveyed effectively. If on session 1 you say to the players like, by the way, I am specifically not pulling punches. I am going to use these monsters to kill you guys. Like that's fine. It's just a way different type of game than out of the box 5e, for example. There's also games like, for example, Mothership that are like, they have high lethality on the box essentially. Like it's assumed that someone's gonna eat it.
Blades in the Dark.
Yeah. I would say Blades in the Dark to a lesser extent. Blades in the Dark is like sort of more focused on like a ensemble than it is on like a succession of
Yeah, it's
characters,
like
I
the
feel like.
group. It's like your group, whatever that
Yeah, like
is.
so you can kind of just be like you can just kind of be into whatever, like you can be like this week I want to play this guy. This week I want to play this guy. Versus like, oh no, my guy died.
Yeah.
I have to be a different guy now. I would definitely like to play more Blades in the Dark.
Hell yeah.
Fun system.
It's a lot more fun for me if I think my character can die.
Yeah. It honestly like I've had characters die in role playing games, but it never really like occurs to me until it happens. Like in those games in particular, the ancestor of famed goblin hero Kudai Grab-A-Beer was Fala Fellplatter. And he got killed just from touching a fucking mirror orb, and we never learned what happened. All he did was touch an orb, and it was like, bam, you're dead. I was like, what the fuck?
Like drop dead? Like body
No,
laying there? Or like
vaporized, I believe.
Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was nuts.
That's pretty rough, bud.
And then I got to watch every other member of my party in succession attempt to touch the same orb.
Did they really?
No.
Yep, and we all died, and we never
What?
that was the end of that adventure, and then we picked up, an indeterminate number of years later with different characters on a not the same island, but an island in the same like landmass.
I love the idea of having like such a deep wealth of games and knowledge that like you play a game, everybody touches the thing, and you're like, well, there's that. Closed book, pulls out other book, opens this book. Now here's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. He was like, so you're all dead. We've got to roll new characters.
Oh my
like,
god.
I was like, can I just be another goblin? Can I be a better goblin this time?
Can I be this goblin's brother going out to search for him?
Yeah, he's like his I guess in goblin generations are a bit shorter. Kudai is Fala's we had determined it was like great times 5 grandson.
You're trying to turn this into a level up.
Dear
Speaking
Adam,
of which-
please level us up in the Mystara campaign. I did just,
level up your
I didn't. Kudai just gave birth. I think I talked about this on the show.
I don't know.
Recently,
Kudai.
Kudai gave birth to his dinosaur son.
Oh,
Lemmy.
wonderful. How did that work?
Let me grab a beer. Well, I found a dinosaur egg, and I had Kudai
Okay.
shove it up himself.
Nice.
Because in our campaign, goblins canonically have cloacas.
Well
So,
done.
carried a little Protoceratops to term.
Yes.
Now he's my good boy.
Proud Papa.
Well done.
Eventually, he will be my mount.
Amazing.
But to go back to the question, is there anything?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's anything
there is-
like that we've run into in our stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, the closest thing that I can think of off the top of my head is, like, in Pathfinder specifically, I run it, like, I don't ever, like, worry about inventory. But in the Strange Aeons campaign that I ran, there was a point where I felt like the players were hoarding items. And so I wanted to like encourage them to use the stuff without being like, I'm gonna take this stuff away from you. So like it wasn't really like it wasn't like a Pandora's box per se. It was just them wanting to hold on to every single thing that they picked up.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So I turned their overstuffed bag of holding into a mimic, and until they bought a new bag of holding, a larger bag of holding, I had the stuff stored in that bag come out covered in saliva, and occasionally, if they would roll low enough, I was going to have it bite them when they tried to get stuff out of it. But they caught on and were like, all right, let's spend this obscene amount of gold we have on the biggest bag of holding. I was like, yeah, that's fine. All right. Also use your magic items. And they were like, all right, we'll do it. There's plenty of them. Clearly there's plenty of them. You guys have been getting, you've got so many, I had to make up a bag of holding mimic for you. Let's see. The last one this guy says is mechanical homebrew on the fly. He says, I know a lot of people here have homebrew for called shots, or X spell would do Y thing if used like Z, and that's fine. However, this should really be done during your prep when you have time to research the rules and what others have come up with. At the table, the players are trying to succeed, and the peer pressure of allowing some fancy maneuver that more or less amounts to a free ability may lead you to make bad decisions that may make it difficult to rein in player behavior in the future. My go-to when players want an action to do something that is not specified is, since it's not written on the ability or action description, for now we can say you do it for flavor, but the effect is otherwise the same. I will look into that idea later and have an answer next session. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do it like that this time.
Yeah, you didn't have to sound like such a nerd about it, but like, yeah.
And then if you want to do it again in the future, you go look up the rules and tell me how to actually do it.
Right.
That's pretty much what we do. I mean, I think depending on the system too, like we definitely let a lot more stuff fly in Burn Bright because it's like, all right, cool. Well, this crazy maneuver is going to require like 4 or 5 dice. Like, yeah, you can try doing it for sure, but the fate, of it happening will be as complicated as the action is, which I think is one of the things I love about Burn Bright is I never need to really ask that question. The only time I've had to ask that question was that one time you all were communicating back to the security guild, and you were talking to the all-round female that you had met, that you were trying to convince to join your side. And it was like, it's something that couldn't happen. Like, it just wasn't like I'm going to just drop all my stuff and just like, change sides, even though you rolled really well and you wanted all these abilities.
What if you call out of work and join our weird pirate gang?
Yeah. However, what I did was I did like take into account that there was successes on those rolls, and you could see that it paid off. Unfortunately, like
she was willing to help us later.
She found out that you guys were wanted, and she said that she would take head on the party to come capture you guys, and so that way she could, take charge and make sure you guys were okay. So, yeah, it ended up working out. The Central Guild, yeah. That's what I meant.
I knew what you were talking about.
But,
yeah, it's that's one of those things. You kind of... It's like you were saying before, like you gotta find that razor's edge between structure and free flow. But
exactly.
you've always done it well.
I agree. The nice part too about like with the maybe not the truly impossible abilities, but with Burn Bright in general is if like something is really hard but you do really want to do it, you can like spend Nova points on it to make it happen more likely.
Yeah, and the like advantage points and stuff.
However, you whatever you got to do to kickflip that horse.
Yep.
Yeah, so I actually did realize I was doing something wrong with advantage points. So advantage points are you only get them per fight. They're supposed to be per battle, and
Oh,
they
you don't
go
bank 'em?
away during. Yes, you don't bank them. So like if you do
Ah,
certain things that give you like an advantage, so let's say like, did something out of the ordinary and it worked out, then you would get an advantage point because you're like, hey, you did that cool kickflip and everybody was checking it out, so you get an advantage point for doing that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
it
that's what
was a
I've
cool
been.
kickflip.
It's a cool kickflip.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I never would have guessed.
Yeah. I don't know. We free float a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, I feel like it's it's people that are like, oh, you ruled that wrong. It's like,
Mhm.
well, first of all, calm down.
Yeah, exactly. Who you
Uh,
telling me what I rolled?
yeah,
What's
and
wrong?
the M stands for master, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Calm it down. What's the D stand for again?
Mm, good
Mm,
question.
who knows these things?
How to kickflip a horse. Um, so we're approaching the end of this Burn Bright story, and I presume to fame and riches,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
which may lead us to having some resources to spend, which brings us to our next question,
Mm-hmm.
which is from the Ask Game Masters subreddit from user Stalagspite, pretty good
Oh,
name,
that's fun.
That's pretty good.
who asks, "What are your favorite settlement building mechanics?" Go on to say, "I'm putting together a sandbox campaign, and the players have expressed an interest in building a town. I'm really keen to give them the opportunity as it's a great source of connection and plot hooks, but I also don't want it to consume the entire campaign. Ideally, I'd like them to be making decisions and having consequences and events evolving while they're off adventuring. So I turn to the experts. What are your favorite settlement mechanics to let your players build a community without falling into debates about the best temperature to smith nails for an outhouse?"
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know that I've ever actually been a part of that aside from like drawing out really elaborate fortresses on graph dry erase board.
yeah, the closest I got to that was in the. I ran that Pathfinder, the one that you were in, Jess. I ran that for another group,
Yeah.
and there's that part where you take over, you fight all the goblins in the glassworks factory.
Mm-hmm. I remember this.
So another party that I was running on wanted to like fix it up and begin, selling, you know, again, so it's like all the
Selling
family members
glassworks.
selling glassworks, and they wanted to do that.
Bongs and stuff.
Yeah, glass dildos and butt plugs and
Oh,
bongs.
yeah. The other
But
funny thing that can be made of glass.
Mm-hmm.
but we never we but by the time like I started trying figuring out the game, the group fell apart anyways. They just kind
Mm.
of. But that was the closest I got to it, and I was thinking of like how I would do that, and really, I think I would have just eventually just broken it down to like, a couple of rolls, every once in a
Mhm.
while, and just like say like, okay, this is the amount of money that you have to put into it, and this is how much money you get a month, and then have like a thing where you roll like, here are some bad things that can happen, here's some good things that can happen,
That's a good
and just
idea.
like just make it just like a kind of almost like a side game, so it's not. But this is also a store. We're not gonna be like, okay, what are we gonna sell, and what type of colored glass are so it was
Right. You
not
wanted
like a
to
big in-depth
customize
thing.
it a little higher than what the game mechanics were
Yeah.
really willing or well able to accommodate. Yeah, so I in uh well not because of this question, but prior to picking this question, I had I'm running the Iron Gods adventure path for Pathfinder.
Mm.
And the first chapter of that players have access to this like little rough and tumble like tavern, and I decided. So it turned out one of the players chose the backstory that the owner of this tavern is their adopted father. So I decided to make the tavern more important and to make it so that they could spend money and stuff on it, and not just have a huge bag of money at the end of the game. So in that research, I found that Pathfinder actually has pretty robust like building and business rules.
Yeah.
And I'm not really using them. I used them as the basis of the thing that I went on to do. But I basically just chose. I wrote like a small list of improvements essentially, and made a cost to purchase them, and then depending on what it is, an upkeep cost, and then a roll for profit.
Okay. It's a neat way to do that.
And yeah, I think it'll. I mean, it'll work at all. It's if anything, it'll wind up not making them that much money. But I don't think even if they rolled the highest rolls every time forever, that it would become like a game breaking amount of money for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it is fun to use stuff like that as it's fun to have a base of operations. We all love the inconsequential space egg because it's our little house. It's our little Stardew Valley shed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the idea of creating like a home fort,
Yeah.
a lot of things like that. But to do like a settlement thing, it's always
a lot.
it's never appealed to me. It's always
it's too much of its own game. If there was a for example, the Quiet Year.
Yeah.
Is a game about not managing per se, but a game on that what I guess what I mean is a game on that scale can clearly work
Of world
because
building,
that's
yeah.
exactly what that game is. It's just a different kind of game. It made me think of this question. Also made me think of a couple of video games because that's a not an infrequent thing in video games to have the story, but then have your little your area. The main one that I thought of,
or whatever.
yeah, the main one I thought of was the town in Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a lot of fun to upgrade and improve because it just makes this beautiful little medieval Italian village.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
sick. I'm actually doing shit. This
Yeah,
game
that's pretty
rips.
cool. I do like that for that game a lot.
I feel like there's some other. I want to say Suikoden 2 had a base improvement mechanic. I don't know if I know. Jesse, I know you're aware of Suikoden 2. I don't remember if you played it though.
I don't remember playing it. I know of it. You're correct.
It might have just been me and Mark were into that.
Is it JRPG?
Yeah, it was really fun. It had the dice game in the bowl.
Yeah. I do remember that, I think.
Remember many a after school afternoon just yelling at that bowl. Drinking Mountain Dew and yelling.
Yeah. As youth should be.
Yep. Teaching me to gamble with dice. I wonder what that game is. I wonder if you can play it without a bowl.
Yeah, if it's based on a real game.
Yeah. Or if it's just you rolled a dragon. It's oh shit. I don't have that dice in real life. I have all these dice, but it's only numbers on them. The fuck? Where the fuck do I get a dragon dice? You rolled a dragon, a Patrick, and a Tommy Pickles.
That's hilarious.
One of the responses to that question from the Reddit from user Spartan CFOS says, personally, I like Blades in the Dark's approach for a couple of reasons. character sheet for the group is a great way to build engagement in the wider whole and create a sense of, quote, us. The tier system makes it very easy to extrapolate and have a role cover an outcome. This is aided by the position and effect system. Progression for the group is tied to the thing the group does rather than abstractions or GP. If I'm running any sort of campaign that has a sort of central pillar like a gang, a kingdom, a carrier group, or a cause, then Blades would be the first place I would look. We clearly didn't get to that in our game, but it's cool that it's there.
Yep. I think I remember.
It'd be a fun way. I do vaguely remember that. That would be a fun way to accommodate, like, I guess maybe that's the whole idea of Blades, but that would be a cool way to accommodate, like, they call it a West Marches style game, where it's like a big table, like, happening in a consistent world, but like players sort of drop in and out session to session.
I've heard of such things.
Because apparently old D&D was, the way time was supposed to work in old D&D was real time was supposed to pass. Like, if you play on Wednesday and then you don't play until Wednesday again, 7 days were supposed to have passed in the game world.
That's wild.
Which is pretty nuts. It's a really
Long game.
really far out approach to
Yeah,
managing
it seems like a lot.
Yeah,
story. But I guess if you're just like, check it out, you're on this island, it's another dungeon. Have at it. I mean, you know, if that's the game you're into, why not? But the types of games I feel like that we like, maybe not suited to that. But Blades in the Dark, I think, would maybe lend itself to that better. Like, I feel like whereas with Burn Bright, if we are down a guy during a show, we just don't do Burn Bright. Whereas if we were doing Blades in the Dark, I think it would be a lot easier to still play it even if we are down a guy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, you just cut to other members of the crew basically doing something else.
Right.
Like, sort of what we did with the side story. I guess that is a lot to keep track of. But
yeah, but the thing is that Blade in the Dark is that retconning is like a major thing with
That's
Blades
true.
in the Dark, you know? So
I'm going to do a flashback, and I remember that so-and-so was there.
yeah. Remember that we told them to meet us?
He's just like, I don't know why, I just imagine, like, you know the guy from Thief?
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine that guy just, like, eating a big plate of spaghetti just in the corner of a room, and he's like, I've been here the whole time.
Amazing.
It's like, well, I want a flashback that Tommy said that he could do the heist, but he had to be out by 10:15, and so it's 10:15 now in the heist, so we no longer have Tommy.
He had to bounce.
Wow,
I
Tommy.
flashback that you have doo-doo in your pants.
Oh my god, somebody put shit in my pants.
Oh my god!
Just when you thought I was out,
Thought you
they
were
pull you
safe.
back in.
From the doo-doo in your own pants.
It's doo-doo.
Amazing. It's doo-doo, baby. All right, fellas. Well, I got one last question. Speaking of people having to go at 10:15,
Tommy.
this has been a fun time. But I will wrap this here on what starts off as a sad story, but I think with the main reply becomes a better story.
Okay.
And this is from the RPG subreddit from user Charoses, CHAROSES of the liver. The title is They Said Nothing for 2 years. He says, this feels dumb to even say, but I'm at a bit of a loss. I ran Call of Cthulhu over COVID. Went on for about 1.5 to 2 years. I enjoyed GMing a fair bit. I enjoyed making props. I enjoyed the realism of the system. I struggled a bit with player interaction. Once we got to a natural break about a month ago, they, presumably the players, tell me that they haven't liked the system the whole time.
What?
I was having so much fun that they didn't want to say anything. I let them convince me that World of Darkness was the answer. I'm hesitantly starting to write things up. We made a number of agreements on how things are going to change as far as breaks, phone use, etc. Am I a fool to run a game for them again?
Aw. Poor baby.
Well, so it's easy to read it that way, but then user Wittershin Wanderlust,
Let's go. Make me not feel
Ter-
bad.
terrible username, but they say they have a pretty salient point. They say, so your group of friends have, for the past 2 years, been playing a game that they didn't particularly care for.
Yeah.
They did this just because you were enjoying the game and they wanted to support you. And your question is if you would be a fool to run another game for them? Let me put it as succinctly as I can. You would be a fool to not run more games for these people. If you part ways with them, please send them my way. I could use some good friends.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
they still did it.
Yeah.
I would definitely have a conversation with, like, yeah, I mean, it was still fun to hang out. And even if they don't like the game type, they're still willing to find some fun in it. But obviously, they didn't dislike it so much that they were like.
Right.
But I can understand, though, because, like, that's always the concern, right? When you're DMing a game, you're like, oh, I wonder if people like this. And they're like, no, it's fine, it's great. But then, like, after years of playing this game, like, yeah, it wasn't fine and it wasn't great. I mean, it was, so I can see how that can
Right.
kind of be a bummer also, and kind of be like, well, you guys need to tell me. Like, I won't take it personally because,
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Like, he didn't write the game.
Right.
And
did he?
there's probably,
Even if
I
it
mean, there's
did.
tons of other Cthulhu systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If that's specifically what he wants to run. I feel like World of Darkness is a weird place to jump from Call of Cthulhu, but
Mm.
You know.
That one.
it's like all D10s,
Yeah.
and it's not like, as far as I'm aware, there's no like tactical aspect to it. Like it's meant to be like all role playing.
Mm.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think so. At least any edition that I would have been looking at, which would have been, I don't know, long ago.
Yeah. It's totally fair for this DM to mourn, and like to have that moment, but it's really
For
a
sure. I think
conversation.
I think it's, yeah, it's not an it's not an inexplicable response.
Right.
But the reply, I think, is the right response. Like
I
they
agree.
should the ultimate takeaway is you have the opportunity to continue hanging out with these people that clearly enjoy your company enough to play a game that they're not super into.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll be even more into this game and then have an even better time.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
No.
They should have said that they didn't like the system earlier.
Yes.
And hopefully they had, concrete things to say about what they didn't like, and it wasn't just, I don't know, I don't like it, because that's not helpful at all.
Yeah. Perhaps it was about the
That's true.
involvement of concrete.
Concrete.
May well have been. All right, well, that's the end of my Reddit questions. Anyone want to say anything else before we take off here?
No, I think I'm pretty good. It's pretty fun. We've got we're gonna have a game coming up next Monday, hopefully. Anything else that we're doing this week?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Same.
But who knows? That might change.
Mhm.
I don't know why it would. But
The Monday of the
other-
19th and the 26th, I'll be taking lead climbing classes.
ooh, fun.
Yeah, so I will be jumping off a wall and being caught.
Fun.
Don't hurt yourself.
That's the idea, is to practice it in a safe environment for when we're doing it outside.
Fair enough. You said 19th and 26th?
Yep.
All right, I'll let me write that down here so I actually remember to write it on the calendar. 19th, 26th, no Jesse. Great. All right. Well, now you know Jesse's schedule, everyone out there.
Man.
But
Yeah.
for those intervening weeks, we will be barring any unforeseen cancellations. We will be finishing up motherfucking Burn Bright,
Yes, sir.
and I will
Motherfucking-
be excited about that. If we don't wind up running that, depending on who drops, we might play. We might play some 5th edition. We might play some Barks and Bites. We might play some 666 Madison. Who knows?
Who
But
knows
either
what the future
way,
holds.
yeah. Either way, do all the following stuff: the YouTube, the Instagram. Follow Ayeva, who made our song that I don't think played this episode, but that's okay.
Because it's in
It's a
your head
good
every
song.
day.
Now
You know
it'll-
the song.
Now it'll surprise you when you hear it. Support our artist friends, Mikael and Alejandro. You can find links to their stuff, various places. I don't know. Our buddy Fink is on Twitch sometimes. He does Fall Guys. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. Follow me on Mastodon.
What is Mastodon?
It's hard to use Twitter for people that hate
Oh,
Twitter.
yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, it's fine. It's basically Twitter, except it's not owned by a terrible asshole. Yet.
Yet.
But yeah, that's that. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks Jesse
Thank you,
for
guy.
running the video. Thanks
My
Ari
pleasure.
for being here.
And thank you for the questions and for hanging out as well.
Thanks for doing
Yeah.
the thanks.
Always a pleasure. Always a hoot and a holler. All right. Say Bernarfanarf and everybody.
I
Nerf or nerf or
refuse.
nerf
I
or
refuse my nerf.
Bump, bump, bump.
nerf.
Cut it there.